The 2000s were the best era for motorcycles, period. And if you think otherwise, well, you're probably stuck romanticizing the 80s or too busy drooling over modern tech. It all started when Kawasaki dropped the Ninja ZX-11 in 1990, claiming it was the fastest motorcycle on the planet. But when the ZX-12R dropped, it wasn't just fast, it was an all-out missile on wheels. And here's where the arguments start. Some of you might want to throw in the Suzuki Hayabusa. But let's be honest, the ZX-12R was a true beast. Power, design, speed, it had it all. So now that I probably riled up half of you, let's dive into the 2000s and talk about the best bikes that came out of this legendary era. Don't agree with me? Good. Let me know in the comments. 10. Ducati Monster. A raw V-twin roadster originally launched as a 900 in 1993, the Ducati Monster has been one of the brand's most popular models, spawning a family of its own and being repeatedly updated and modernized. Back in the 90s, Ducati was piecing together what they thought was just a parts bin special, grabbing an engine, a frame, and a fork from other bikes, slapping on minimal bodywork, and hoping for the best. The bike was designed to be an aggressive anti-cruiser, geared toward edgy youth who didn't want a sports bike or a traditional cruiser. Fast forward to the early 2000s, and the Monster lineup exploded. The Monster S4 had a liquid-cooled 916cc L-twin that packed 101 horsepower and 68 foot-pounds of torque. Then there was the SR with a 996cc engine, cranking out 117 horsepower, and for the grand finale, the SR Testeretta, featuring a 998C engine from the Ducati 999, pushing 130 horsepower. Ducati gave us air-cooled gems like the Monster 696 and 1100, which became icons in their own right. 9. Suzuki GSX R750. After years of gentle evolution, Suzuki went to town on its 2011 GSX R750, its middleweight superbike. Weighing in at 190 kilos, fully fueled and ready to go, it's a massive 8 kg lighter than the old model, giving the claimed 148 bhp Suzuki GSX R750 a mouth-watering power-to-weight ratio, bridging the gap between the lightweight agility of the 600cc sport bikes and the raw power of the 1000cc machines. With 64 pounds of torque, the GSX R750 offered a balance that made it ideal for both track enthusiasts and spirited street riders. While many manufacturers moved away from the 750cc class, Suzuki doubled down, ensuring this model remained a staple of their lineup. Even in 2023, the GSX R750 continues to be produced, a testament to its enduring design and popularity. The bike not only held its own in performance, but also became a cultural icon, synonymous with early 2000s sport bike culture. From the track to the streets, Gixxer Squid outfit defined the 2000s even till today's cargo short flip-flops. A Von Dutch hat perched just right, and Oakley sunglasses to seal the deal. 8. Honda CBR 1100XX Super Blackbird. It was always going to take a special bike to dethrone the Kawasaki ZZ-R 1100 as king of the hyperbikes, and the Honda Blackbird was exactly that. Honda Simps, don't worry, I mentioned it. Named after the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, it hit the scene in 1996 and immediately grabbed the title of the fastest production motorcycle, clocking it at 176.5 miles an hour. And before you get cocky about your modern bike, let me just say this. Even now, a well-ridden Blackbird can still embarrass a lot of newer 600s and even 1000s. This beast is powered by a monstrous 1137cc inline-4 engine. Back then, it was cranking out 152 horsepower and 93 foot-pounds of torque. It's got a 0 to 60 time of 2.77 seconds, quicker than a lot of supercars, and the quarter mile, a blistering 10 seconds. But the beauty of the Blackbird isn't just in raw numbers, it's the whole package. Smooth power delivery, bulletproof reliability, it's a Honda after all, and comfort that makes it a hyperbike you'd actually want to tour on. Sure, the Hayabusa eventually came along and stole the top speed crown, but the Blackbird's legacy is untouchable. Unfortunately, Honda only gave us one generation. One. Imagine if they kept improving it, releasing Gen 2, 3, and so on. But no, Honda moved on. 7. Kawasaki Ninja 500R. First, the Ninja 500 is no performance machine introduced in 1987. It remained largely unchanged for decades, with a 499cc parallel twin engine producing 50 horsepower and 31 foot-pounds of torque. The Ninja 500R offered enough power to satisfy newcomers without overwhelming them. Its accessible design, reliable mechanics, and affordability made it a go-to choice for beginner riders and even novice racers. Despite its modest performance, the Ninja 500R had a reputation for being a fun and practical bike. Its lightweight and nimble handling allowed riders to confidently navigate tight corners, while the low cost of parts and maintenance kept ownership stress-free. Back in the early 2000s, when access to detailed specs wasn't as widespread, many riders chose the Ninja simply because of its iconic name and fairing. The Ninja branding gave it an allure that outshone its humble capabilities. 6. Honda Hornet 919. Just like the Monster, the Honda Hornet was Honda's Italian bike. Back in 2002, this beauty rolled onto the market, designed in Europe, built in Italy, and aimed squarely at riders who wanted performance without the pretentious frills. Under the hood, or rather the tank, you got 919cc inline-4 engine punching out 100 horsepower and 65 pound-feet of torque. Not insane numbers, but let me tell you, this bike isn't about flexing spec sheets. It's about feeling alive. That upright seat position, wind smacking your chest, and a connection to the road that modern bikes seem to sanitize out. It's raw, unfiltered, and glorious. Now, let's talk practicality. This wasn't just a street bike. It was Honda's nod to the universal Japanese motorcycle UJM legacy. Think back to the CB750 days, when bikes weren't trying to be aggressive, just versatile and approachable. The Hornet 919's design philosophy echoed that, and it stood out during the sports bike crazy 90s hangover of the early 2000s. Fast forward to today, and the Hornet still feels relevant. It's light, agile, and with a little TLC, it can run forever. You'll find folks restoring them, not because they're rare, but because they're timeless, and that's the Honda way. Reliable, relatable, and ready to ride. 5. Ducati 1098. Produced between 2007 and 2009, the 1098 Ducati crafted it as the spiritual successor to the beloved 998, aiming to erase the polarizing memory of the 999, and they succeeded. The 1098 brought back iconic features like the single-sided swing arm and horizontal headlights, cementing its place in Ducati's Hall of Fame. It was powered by a 1099cc L-twin engine in the base and S models, delivering a hearty 160 horsepower and 90 foot-pounds of torque. While modern bikes have eclipsed these figures, the raw and analog nature of the 1098 made it just unforgettable. The R model went even further with an 1198cc engine, cranking out 180 horsepower and 99 foot-pounds of torque. For its time, this bike wasn't just fast, it dominated, winning World Superbike Championships in 2008 and 2011. At 381 pounds dry, the base model boasted one of the best torque-to-weight ratios of any production bike. Acceleration? Try a 3-second 0 to 60 or a 10-second quarter mile. This bike didn't just move, it launched. And thanks to its dry clutch, the soundtrack at every gas station was a symphony of marbles and a driver, earning equal parts admiration and confusion from onlookers. 4. KTM Super Duke 990. The KTM Superbike 990, produced from 2005 to 2014, was KTM's groundbreaking entry into the street fighter category. It was powered by a 999cc V-twin engine, producing 120 horsepower and 73 foot-pounds of torque. Weighing in at just 440 pounds, the Super Duke 990 offered an excellent power-to-weight ratio that ensured thrilling performance for riders. This motorcycle was designed by the Kiska team, who played a significant role in establishing KTM's distinctive and aggressive style during the 1990s. The Super Duke 990 embodied KTM's ethos of lightweight, performance-focused engineering, combined with a bold and visceral design. Its raw, no-frills approach to motorcycling made it stand out in an era when many bikes were becoming increasingly dependent on electronics. Key features of the Super Duke 990 included WP suspension, Brembo brakes, and a 6-speed gearbox. The WP suspension system, with its 48mm upside-down forks and adjustable rear shock, gave excellent handling and stability, while the Brembo 4-piston calipers ensured strong and reliable braking performance. The bike's minimalistic analog dash and absence of advanced electronics like traction control or ABS emphasized its old-school charm. 3. Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R. This bike didn't just join the 600cc party, it brought the DJ, the lights, and the bass drop. The 2000 to 2002 lime green Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R was a mood. Everything from its iconic Shrek-like green to its performance specs screamed early 2000s. Powered by a 636cc inline-4, this bad boy churned out 131 horsepower and 52 foot-pounds of torque. Sure, on paper it's closer to 120 horsepower at the wheel, but let's be honest, those numbers still slap. We're talking 41mm Showa big piston forks and a Unitrack adjustable shock in the rear and brakes. Dual 3 10mm rotors up front with Nissan monoblock calipers means you're stopping on a dime. Whether you're cruising the twisties or lining up for your next track day, this bike keeps you in control. 2. Aprilia RSV 1000R. This beauty ran from 2004 to 2010, standing as a rival to the Ducati 999 and other twin-cylinder legends of the era. With a 998cc V twin engine, it produced 143 horsepower and 76 foot-pounds of torque. Not the most powerful, but boy did it deliver in character and handling. The RSV 1000R was a bike with immediate torque and a thrilling top-end rush, striking a balance that made it unforgettable. And let's not forget that exhaust note, so iconic, it could make a Ducatista sweat. Aprilia even offered a factory trim, adding Öhlins suspension, a steering damper, and carbon fiber accents. What made this bike truly special was its reliability. Yes, an exotic Italian machine with reliability. Owners who snagged one new often still ride them today. Sure, it lacked modern power tech, but that only added to the pure, unfiltered riding experience. 1. Hayabusa. Introduced in 1999, the Hayabusa was named after the peregrine falcon, a bird capable of diving at speeds of up to 200 miles an hour. This wasn't a coincidence. The bike's purpose was to dominate speed records and dethrone Honda's Blackbird, its direct competitor. Under the hood, the Hayabusa featured a 1299cc liquid-cooled 16-valve inline-4. With an output of 173 horsepower and 98 pound-foot of torque, it achieved a top speed of 194 miles an hour. These numbers weren't just impressive, they forced the industry to rethink what a production motorcycle could do. The bike's speed and power even led manufacturers to enter a gentleman's agreement to electronically limit top speeds to 186 miles an hour, a move to address concerns over escalating speed wars. Its aerodynamic design was crafted through extensive wind tunnel testing. The sleek tank allowed riders to tuck in, reducing drag, while every curve of the bodywork was optimized for high-speed stability. These design choices gave the Hayabusa its unmistakable silhouette, one that still sparks debate among enthusiasts today. The bike's versatility also made it a favorite among custom builders. From turbocharged engines to extended swing arms, the Hayabusa became a platform for innovation. Its robust engine even found its way into unique projects, including smart cars and land speed record vehicles, showcasing its adaptability and durability. Let us know if there's another contender you think should make the list, and if there's anything we missed or a point you disagree with, let us know your thoughts in the comments below.